Hi, and welcome to Yoga with Tim. I'm Tim, and this is my dog Ollie. And I created this 30-day challenge as a way for you to develop balance, strength, and flexibility through your yoga practice. Each video in this challenge is going to be a well-balanced flow and will be 30 minutes or less, so it can fit into your schedule easily. I'm stoked that you're ready to take this challenge with me. If you're ready to commit, then I want you to do a couple of things. First, subscribe to my channel and turn on all of your notifications so you won't miss any of the videos of the challenge. Second, go to my website, yogawithtim.com, or I'll put the link below in the description, and register for the challenge there. I'll send you a daily email during the challenge with encouragement and just little tidbits about what's going to be going on in the challenge for that day. The last thing I'd like to let you know is that this challenge is cumulative in that it will become more challenging throughout the practice. First week will be more fundamentals, and then we'll dive deeper into it. So let's get started. So we're going to start off lying down on our back today. Throughout the challenge, I'm going to recommend that you have a block and a strap handy. Maybe 2 blocks if you have them. If you don't have them, you can work with whatever you got at home. T-shirt, towel works instead of the strap, and whatever you can use, book, water bottle, something instead of the block. So let's get started on our back, soles of the feet together, knees apart. So this is the easiest way to ground ourselves at the beginning of the practice. Eventually we work up to being seated at the beginning of the practice, but lying down is the easiest way to let the body completely relax and then to connect to the breath. This is important because when we enter the practice, we want to enter from a state of being calm and aware. And when we're tensed up, we're not as aware. We're not aware of our breath. We're usually checked out from the senses what's happening in the body. So this is your time to tune in and to feel. So feel just with the legs in this position, where you feel any tension in the inner legs or in the hips, any stretch. And then also observe your breath and the quality of your breath. Feel as you breathe in where you can feel the breath moving. And just watch. Then bring your knees together and take your arms up to the ceiling. Let your shoulder heads drop down towards the floor, so it's like your arm bone is trying to reach into the socket as your muscles lengthen through the reach of your fingers. And then let's start to warm up the shoulders a little bit. So like pendulums, as you inhale, let the right hand fall towards your knee and let your left arm start to fall back. And then as you exhale, come back. Inhale, change sides, let the right arm fall back, but keep feeling it plug into the socket. And as you exhale, back up. Inhale, slowly change sides. Exhale, back up. Inhale, slowly change sides. See if you can increase the range of motion. And back up. Then open up your arms at your side. And let's find our neutral lower back. So as you exhale, I want you to flatten your lower back down into the mat completely. And then as you inhale, let the lower back arch. Exhale, flatten your lower back completely into the mat. Exhale, let it arch. One more time. Exhale, flatten your lower back down. Inhale, let it arch. And then come right into neutral, not flattened, not arched. Then actively, so this is your neutral spine. The neck has a curve, the lower back has a curve. You don't want to try to flatten either one of those. But I want you to activate the muscles to help to neutralize, to help to balance your hips. So a lot of like the back issues we get is because like one hip rides up more than the other. The spine will get habitually weak on that side, and then we start to get like some degeneration or whatever in the disc because of this imbalance in the spine. So we want to teach ourselves to be able to have a strong, healthy, neutral spine. So actively reach your hips out of your back, and then imagine that you were getting pulled right from the sides of your head away from your hips, so that you're as long as you can be in between your hips and your head. Then without losing any of that length, just bring your right leg up into tabletop. This is like core training 101, and then lower it down. If you're bored, don't worry, it's gonna get better. Then bring the left leg up. And slowly change legs. Bring the right leg up. We're just sensing and feeling. Keep the stretch through the hips and set that foot down. Bring the left leg up. Now hold that leg up. Keep the reach to the hips. This is where it's really going to come into play. Can you bring your right leg up while still reaching the hips? Don't let them twist. Your middle's like a brick. It's not moving. Then slowly send your right leg forward and see if you can lower it a little bit. The lower back will want to lift the lower you take your leg. Don't let it. Keep stretching the lower back long. Bring your leg back up. And then slowly send your left leg forward. Good. Keep that lower back long. Keep the neck long. Don't let it get short. See if you can lower a little more. And back up. And the right leg. Exhale. Stretch the lower back longer. Inhale, back up. Exhale the left. Inhale, back up. Okay, you're getting it. Now we're going to make it a little more challenging. Hug in with your legs. And as you inhale, stretch the left arm back, right leg forward. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, back up. Inhale, change sides. Keep reaching the hips. Actively reach the hips so you use your core muscles. Exhale, back up. Inhale, change sides. Exhale, back up. Inhale, change sides. Keep feeling the arm bone drop into the socket as it reaches back. Exhale, back up. Inhale, change sides. Exhale, back up. Inhale, change sides. Exhale, back up. Good, then set your feet down. So you might feel like just a little bit of work in your belly. That's good. Don't worry, it's going to get more challenging each day. Roll over to your right side and press up. Then come onto your hands and your knees. So place your hands right underneath your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Then round your back and look back at your navel. Inhale, arch your back, wheel your chest forward. One more time, cat-cow. Exhale. Inhale. Come into neutral with your spine, hold there, send your right arm forward without your ribs twisting. And then stretch your left leg back behind you. Hold, pull your belly up. Keep that length, reach the hips out of the back. Lower your hand and your knee. Change sides, send just the left arm forward and slide your right leg back along the floor. Now reach those hips just like we practiced. Lengthen your spine as you hold your limbs out. And lower back down. Change sides. Now this time, as you stretch your hips, especially the buttocks, down out of the back, can you lift the back foot up just an inch without the hips twisting? Set your hand and your knee down. Change sides, hold. Now lift your belly, see if you can lift that back leg just an inch. Activate the glute, move the buttock out of the lower back, lower down. One more round like that. Let's go straight to that inch up position. Activate the back of your leg and your glute, move down out of your back, lower and change sides. Breathe. And release. Then stretch back to child's pose. Do the first child's pose with your toes curled under, just like that. Let the head drop, breathe. Then come up onto your hands and your knees. And let's practice our first down dog. So hands go shoulder distance apart. Open up the hands evenly into the mat and rotate your biceps forward. Then as you curl your toes under, lift your knees, hips up, and stretch the hips up, back away from the wrists as you let the head drop down. Then inhale into plank pose. Bring your shoulders to balance right over top of your wrists. Elongate, lift the inner thighs, pull your spine long. You can always do plank with your knees down if it feels like it's too much. And then stretch back to downward facing dog. Lift the hips up, inner arm spin forward. So inhale into plank pose, shoulders balance right over top of the wrists, hold. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up high, feet go hip distance apart. Stretch the hips up and back away from the wrists as you reach down through your middle three knuckles. Breathe through your nose. All right, now bring your hands close together and step your right foot all the way up to the outside of your right hand. And we're gonna do a little hip stretch here. Lower your back knee down, point your toes back and start to open up your chest. Reach your heart forward. Let the hips release out of your back. Okay, now curl your back toes under. Keep that feeling like you're evenly stretching your hips out of your back as you start to lift your back knee up. The more you stretch your back leg, the more your hips are gonna wanna twist off to the side. Instead, keep reaching your right hip straight back with your left one. Breathe yourself long. So just feel like without focusing on the breath, it's much more gnarly. Like it doesn't feel as sattvic in its quality. It doesn't feel as balanced. But when you move and you're aware of your breath and how your breath is moving, there's a much more balanced quality in the pose. There's effort, but it's not so much effort to where you're tensing up. There's like effort and release at the same time. That's what we're looking for. Lower your back knee down and change sides. Step your left foot up to the outside of your left hand. Back knee down, start to open up your chest, breathe. So I've lifted up off the heel of my hand just a little bit to give me extra lift because I'm really tight in my hips right now. I could also put blocks underneath my hands or even come up onto my fingertips. You see how that gives me a more open quality. So do what you need to find it. Remember, we're practicing non-violence. We're not trying to jam ourselves into any of the poses. Then curl your back toes under and start to lift your back knee up, but keep reaching both hips evenly out of your back. Stretch, 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 breathe. And then lower your back knee down. Now from here, we're gonna step right up to the top of the mat. So lift the back knee, step your back foot to the outside of your right hand, and with your feet like real wide like this, let your head drop. I'm gonna work with a significant bend in my knees, and I encourage you to as well, just to let the back body open. So this is kind of like minimizing the amount the hamstrings have to stretch so that your spine can really release into the fold. And that's fine, no worries. All right, and then hands to hips, come all the way up to stand. All right, so when we practice our standing poses today, we're gonna continue that awareness of our middle. But before we do that, we're gonna do some functional movement warm-ups to help to get us even more energized and get the muscles more warmed up for our standing poses today. Now, Surya Namaskar, I'm gonna introduce that later on in the sequence, in the challenge. Surya Namaskar, sun salutations, it's kind of like, it's not really an introductory or beginner level practice. So I see like lots of videos on YouTube, people like beginner yoga, easy yoga, start off with sun salutations. And that's kind of inappropriate for a beginner. So we're gonna first learn to use our shoulders, our back muscles, and our hips in some different functional movements that will train us to be able to use them in Surya Namaskar. So that's super important. Let's start off today with just a squatting position or an Utkatasana chair position. So to train ourselves this, we're gonna take the feet outer hips distance apart. Then I want you to raise your arms up right at shoulder height. Keep your chest open. This is gonna start to strengthen your back muscles and your hip muscles. Now, without losing the lift of your chest, as you inhale, you're gonna start to sit back like you're sitting into a chair. The first thing that I notice that want to happen in people is that they'll roll the inner ankles down like this and sink into their feet. Don't let that happen. Keep your inner ankles lifted, sit your buttock back, and keep the sides of your chest lifted so that your back muscles are turned on. Notice while I'm talking a bunch that we're having to hold this a lot longer. And you feel the heat start to build in your legs. Then as you exhale, come all the way up to stand and release your arms to your side. Okay, now let's move through that fluidly. To be able to hold something is one thing, to be able to move fluidly is another. As you inhale, slowly start to sit back. Sit the hips back, keep the chest lifted, pull up through your crown, and just like on your back at the beginning, stretch the hips out of the back as you pull the spine taller. And now sit the buns back a little bit deeper, and then come back up to stand, arms to your side. Let's just do that 5 more times. Inhale, slowly lower. Pause, and you can feel like your muscles, you can feel them working in your legs and in your hips, that's good. Exhale, come all the way up to stand. Inhale, slowly lower yourself, slow so you can feel the spine get longer. Exhale, come up to stand. Last two, inhale, slowly sit back. Press down into the center of your heels. Feel the spine grow tall so that your core is really working. You're not just hanging. Back up. Last one. Inhale, slowly sit back. Good. Now this time, spin those biceps up like we practiced in down dog, and then slowly start to raise your arms. Just like when you're on your back, the arm bones plug in, but the muscles stretch long. Sit back one more inch, but pull taller, and then come all the way up to stand. Whew, good job. Okay, now take your feet outer hips distance apart and turn the toes out about halfway. We're gonna do 5 more little warm-ups like this. This is to help to warm up the external rotators in your hip. We wanna work that same length that we found on our back at the beginning. Put your hands here at the top of your pelvis. As you inhale, start to bend your knees out to the side, like we're gonna need to use the knees for warrior 2, an extended side angle. The inner thighs turn out, the side ribs are tall. Bring your hands to prayer position. Keep those inner ankles lifted, and as you exhale, come all the way up to stand. Inhale, slowly lower, and pull yourself even taller through the crown of your head. Turn the inner thighs to the outer thighs. Exhale, come up. 2 more. Inhale, slowly lower, and hold. Turn those inner thighs. Now we're gonna make it a little more challenging. Raise your arms up. Spin the arms like we practiced in down dog. We're gonna keep encouraging that movement, and exhale back up. Last one, inhale, slowly lower, rotate those arms, turn the inner thighs, chest open, breathe, and come up to stand. Okay, now you can feel your heart pumping, you can feel all the blood moving through your body, all that energy, all that heat. So we're gonna use that now for our standing poses. Take your feet wide apart, about 4 feet, all of your toes pointing straight ahead. Then angle your left toes in slightly, turn your right leg all the way out. So now I look at my right leg, and it's like it's doing mountain pose facing this side wall. So the center of the thigh bone's turned. Now bend your right knee right over your ankle, keep your chest open, and reach into your back heel like it's pushed against the wall. Keep turning that right thigh out and see if you can bend so the knee comes right over the ankle. Then spread your arms out. Look over your right middle finger and breathe. Then bring your right forearm down onto your right thigh. Pause. Lift the sides of your chest. Reach your hips out of your back. Same basic action from the beginning. Take your left arm all the way over your ear. So also something that we're going to explore throughout this series, the 30-day series, is depth, like I mentioned in the introductory video. But what is depth in pose? It's starting to learn subtle actions. Today we're just learning gross actions, very basic movements. Move your hips this way. Move your chest this way. It'll start to become more subtle throughout the challenge as you gain more depth and understanding of your body and its movements. Come back up. Turn your feet to the other side. Your left leg turns all the way out. Right leg turns in. So like in mountain, like the left leg is doing mountain facing forward, bend the left knee, pause, then spread your arms. Keep turning that inner thigh to outer thigh. Breathe the spine upright. Hands up in line with the shoulders, and spread the chest through the reach of your arms. Then bring your left elbow to your leg. Pause. Reconnect the stretch through your back heel. Lift from your belly up to your heart, but keep stretching the hips out of your back. Reach your right arm all the way over your ear. And just feel that deep stretch that you feel in your back leg hip, across your left inner groin. Inhale, come back up to stand. Straighten your leg, turn your toes in so your feet are parallel. Then step your legs together. I just realized there might be some new people that don't know what mountain are, so you should go over mountain pose. Open up across your feet, spread your toes. Increase the whole space of the foot like you're growing roots down into the floor. Then balance yourself right over your ankle bones. Let the hips balance, balance your shoulders, and balance your ears. So we rarely stand like this because it feels pretty weird to stand like this, but the more that you practice standing erect like this, it'll start to change your posture, how you stand throughout the day. Okay, now we're going to practice tree pose. Press down strong through your left heel. Then bring your right leg up and slide your right heel up the inseam of your left leg. It doesn't have to go all the way up like I'm taking it. If you can, take it up by the groin. But if you need to keep your leg lower because it won't go up that high, that's fine. Just go right above or below the knee. Don't put your leg right on the knee. Then join your palms together. What happened to the left foot? Did it start to shrink? Mine did a little. So now open up your left foot again. Open up across your chest. Balance everything over your left ankle. Watch your breath. Then lower your leg back down. Let's change sides. Open up your right foot. And as you press through the center of your right heel, bring your left heel up to your right inner thigh. Join your palms together. Stand tall. So now let your left inner leg stretch from your groin towards your knee. Open up on your right foot again. That's your root. Grow tall up over the ankle, the hips, shoulders, and ears. Breathe through your nose. Then bring your leg back down. Good job. Okay, step up to the front of your mat. Inhale, raise your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Elongate. See if maybe you can straighten the legs now as you've warmed up. And then step back into plank pose, one leg at a time. Now we're going to work our core muscles a little bit more. Remember, you can always do this with your knees down if it's too much. Engage your abs and raise your right leg up just 1 inch. Keep the length of your spine. Grow your spine longer. Collarbones broad, chest open. Change legs. Lift the left leg up 1 inch. Grow the collarbones wider. Grow the spine longer. Lift your belly. Change legs. Right leg up 1 inch. Now without rounding your back, bring your knee up. Hold. Use your abs. Get longer. Stretch your hips back. Change sides. Left leg up 1 inch. Pause. Bring your knee up. Hold your length. Get longer. Stretch that leg back. Hold there. Then set one elbow down onto the mat. And then the other. Plank onto your forearms. Lift up your belly. Just 3 more breaths. Whew. Squeeze your armpits down, but grow the spine longer. Don't let your upper back hunch. Keep the neck long. Good, then set your knees down. Come back up onto the hands. And with your left hand down, open up to your right, left hand, left knee down for side plank. Take your right arm up. You can hold here with the knee down, just working on the shoulder opening, or if you want to make this a core exercise as well, then stretch your left leg out behind your right like this. Then we'll add a modification, variation, rotate your top arm and reach it all the way over. And then come back, change sides. So right knee, right hand down, open up. And extend the back leg if you did on the other side. Then take your top arm, rotate it, and reach it all the way over. Externally rotate as you turn it. Come back down. And then come into seated position. Sit with your legs stretched straight out in front of you and sit up tall. Then sweep your legs over to the left and twist to your right. Bharavajrasana. Just like we practiced on our back at the beginning, even though your feet are off to one side and the hips want to twist, grow the hips down out of your back, grow your chest upright. Come back to center, sweep the legs over to the right, and twist to your left. Come back to center, Stretch your legs out in front of you. Sit up tall over your sit bones, flex your feet, pull your spine up. Then cross your legs and fold forward. Navel in, let your head release towards the floor. And just feel that stretch in your hips. Breathe, lengthen to the spine as the hips open. Inhale, come back up. Change the cross of your legs. And start to stretch forward. Walk your hands back towards you and lie down onto your back. Shavasana, corpse pose. Let the feet fall open, let the palms turn up at your side. Man, my abs still like spazzing out. Did your abs work a bunch? Okay, let your feet fall open, let your hands turn up at your side and just relax now. Let those abs relax. Relax the hands, the feet, soften the legs and arms. Relax any tension in your jaw or your tongue. Soften the eyes. So now no more effort. Just give up, let go. The most basic breath work, but also very profound, is just observing the natural rhythm of the breath. It's a great meditation tool. It starts to train or enhance the focus and senses inward. So just practice watching the natural rhythm of your breath without trying to change it. And feel how soothing that is for your mind. All right, then gently bend your knees. Roll to your right side. And press yourself up to seated. And then sit up tall with your palms together. Take a moment here to feel how good your body feels after taking time to take care of it. And by practicing mindfully, with attention, then lower your head towards your heart. Lift the head and open the eyes. Thank you. Namaste. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed day one of the challenge. Just a couple of things. If you felt like this wasn't the right amount of challenge for you, reminding you that it will become more challenging over time. But if you feel like you're ready to jump into something that's more advanced right off the bat, then I'm going to put the link below to a 7-day challenge that I made. It's called the Quarantine Challenge because I filmed it during the whole quarantine thing. But if that's not going on anymore, you can still do the challenge. That's fine. The second link that I'm going to put below is for the 7-day fundamentals course. So if you felt like this was too much challenge for you, over your head, too gnarly, then I'm going to put the link to that. And that's going to help you to develop a great foundation so that once you're strong in the fundamentals, you can come back to a series like this. Just want to remind you, if you haven't already, turn on your notifications as you subscribe and make sure that you're signed up on my website. Thanks so much, and I'm stoked that you're in on this challenge with me.